You wake up to find your phone already filled with messages, texts, notifications, people seeking answers, attention, and energy. You're drained, yet you respond. You don't want to come off as rude or disappointing, so you remain accessible, always ready to react. Gradually, without your awareness, you fade into invisibility. The more you're present for others, the more they overlook your significance. The more you make yourself available, the more you are taken for granted. That's the trap, and it's not your fault. It's simply human nature. People tend to value what they cannot have on demand. It's unfair, but it's true. Marcus Aurelius famously remarked, "People will go to great lengths, often absurdly, to avoid confronting their own soul." This includes distracting themselves with others. When you're always reachable, you become the call for those evading self-reflection. You transform into an escape, merely an option rather than a person with depth. And when their storms subside, they leave you behind in silence, feeling drained, lost, and forgotten. This is the reality for many caught between the feeling of being needed during crises and being ignored in calm times. It stings. But consider the impact of becoming less reachable. What if you ceased explaining yourself constantly? What if you delayed your responses? What if your energy, time, and space were no longer up for grabs? Everything would shift. You would cease drawing chaos and start attracting respect. You would no longer be the emergency contact for those who wouldn't reciprocate. Your kindness wouldn't feel like a bargain for convenience. By creating boundaries, you create clarity. This allows people to recognize who you truly are, beyond what you offer them. There's great strength in being unavailable, not as a tactic, not as retribution, but as a means of safeguarding your energy. When you stop being easily reachable, you permit yourself to evolve. You gain the time to think, reflect, and rest. You come back to your own tenets, breaking away from the rhythms of others and dancing to your own beat. That's when life starts transforming, not busier, not louder, but more authentically yours. Many fear silence, for it unveils the truth. But if you can withstand your own silence, you'll uncover the truth that not everyone is worthy of your access. Not everyone merits your time. Not everyone deserves a prime seat in your life. You're not being cold or rude by stepping back. You're not selfish for safeguarding your tranquility. You're expanding, learning, and growing stronger. This necessitates altering how you move, speak, respond, and allow others to treat you. In a world where constant availability reigns, your worth becomes obscured. When you pull back, your presence becomes memorable. The most esteemed individuals are not the ones who are perpetually present. Instead, they are intentional and rare. They remain centered, not stretched in every direction. They refuse to be controlled by their phones, emails, or others' expectations. They are grounded. That's why their words resonate, and their silence often speaks louder than most chatter. Being harder to reach isn't synonymous with vanishing. It signifies purposeful attendance, the intention to exist, where your spirit is honored. It involves exchanging your energy only with what truly matters and recognizing the distinction between being needed and being exploited. Most importantly, it requires you to cease defining yourself by how frequently you show up for others, but by how deeply you show up for yourself. Human nature compels us to chase after what seems distant. The more someone retreats, the more others gravitate toward them. Yet to play games is unnecessary. It suffices to honor your energy. When others realize they cannot access you whenever they desire, they begin choosing their words more thoughtfully. They start respecting your space and comprehend that you are not a tool but a human with limits. That's when the dynamic finally shifts. You needn't shout to be acknowledged. You don't need to post to validate your worth. You don't need to justify every action for your intent to be clear. Your peace is your power. Your silence is your strength. Your distance acts as your shield. You owe no one access, no one answers, and you certainly don't owe anyone your constant company. Some aspects of life are sacred, your energy is one of them. And once you ease off your availability, the world will begin to treat you with different eyes. That's where your healing initiates. So if this concept speaks to something deep within you, especially if you've felt fatigued, drained, used, or overlooked, then heed this message clearly. You are permitted to retreat from the clamor to reconnect with your inner power. You are free to distance yourself from the crowd to rediscover your tranquility. You have the right to become less accessible so you can become irreplaceable. I encourage you to share this affirmation below. I will protect my energy at all costs. Love this video. Share it with someone who requires this insight. Comment your truths and subscribe. Importantly, don't rush through any part of this message. What follows could reshape your perceptions of love and self-preservation.